Hi, my name is Dr. David Chaudron, and I'm an industrial organizational psychologist. For those of you who don't know what that is, we're psychologists who focus on business and measurement and not therapy. One of the things I've been thinking about over the last few years are the common concepts and ideas in psychology that have filtered themselves into the public without really any scientific basis left for them. There may have been at one time or another, but there no longer is. As a result, I've created this video presentation as a way to tell you 4 concepts that should be flushed down the toilet. First, let's talk about 2 principles of science. The first is the assumption of the null hypothesis, which basically means that everything is BS unless there's good data and reasoning behind it. Just because it sounds good doesn't mean there's science behind it. The second is that a theory must be able to create a testable hypothesis, meaning, in other words, you must develop hypotheses that show that you might be wrong. The 4 flushables are Sigmund Freud's theory personality, the unconscious, the Oedipus complex, the electric complex, and the id, ego, and superego. The second is the idea that analytics occur in the left side of the brain and your artistic stuff happens in the right side of the brain. The third is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And the fourth is using the MBTI, that is the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, as a measure of personality. In regards to Freud, there are 2 major and fatal problems. First of all, it's not a theory. No one can develop a testable hypothesis based upon his ideas. And secondly, there is no empirical evidence to support them. Remember the assumption of the null hypothesis. He also assumed that the nervous system was based upon pressure, not bioelectrical impulses. And a pneumatic view of the nervous system says that if you put pressure in one area, it's going to be popping out somewhere else. In this particular case, going into the unconscious. And so ideas about wanting to have sex with your mother because it's not socially acceptable and because it's an unresolved conflict goes into the unconscious. So, therefore, the second flushable idea is that analytics happen on the left side of the brain and creative things happen on the right side of the brain. This came from the very first brain scans that were done in the 1960s, and the resolution was so poor they really couldn't tell otherwise. As you can see here on this functional MRI, there are many parts of the brain that are active when language is used. And you can easily see that language occurs all over the place in your brain. So, therefore, the third flushable idea is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This implies that there is a general sequence of human development that kind of goes from basic physiological needs into greater and greater, more philosophical needs and higher abstract needs in terms of our existence. There is no evidence to support that this is a rigid sequence, and there is no evidence that there are 5 levels. Evidence suggests that there are 3 categories of motivation: existence, socializing, and growth. That's it. And so, therefore, the fourth flushable idea is the MBTI, or the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. Supposedly, it's a measure of personality, but as you might think, personality by definition does not change very much except over a long period of time. Unfortunately, is that the MBTI does not have good test-retest reliability. So what that means is that if you take it now and then you take it a couple of months from now, you're likely to be getting different results. In addition, the MBTI has problems with its construct validity. And without getting into details, that's not a good thing. Some of you who may have taken it may be thinking, well, gee, that's my personality when you get the results back. But that really is just resulting from chance and confirmation bias. And so, therefore, in summary, Freud's theory of personality had nothing testable about it, and it's based upon a wrong assumption about how the nervous system works. Regarding left brain, right brain, that was simply based on low-resolution images done in the 1960s. Regarding Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there is nothing to suggest a rigid sequence, nor are there 5 levels. And regarding the MBTI, it is a poorly constructed test and has little measures of personality about it at all. I wanted to thank Alexandra, my graphics and video designer, for helping me put this together. I also wanted to thank an anonymous friend who, between he and I, used ChatGPT-4 to generate some of the images here. Thanks for listening and for watching.